experts. And you'll also get a chance to meet other talented entrepreneurs who are with us on this call right now. So before we do that, I just want to take just a small break to talk about Jelly Social and why we're hosting these events in the community. So Jelly Social exists really because of that statement that you see right there. Some entrepreneurs face discriminatory boundaries due to our diversity, which means that some of us have to work harder, take less, struggle more than others just because of our diversity. Now, this is the unfortunate reality of the world we live in, but we and the Jelly Social community, we all have a problem with that. So we believe in equal entrepreneurship, and we believe that equal entrepreneurship is for everyone. So our mission is to ensure that people of all races, of all cultures and backgrounds, have boundless opportunities to thrive as entrepreneurs. And we call this movement Entrepreneurship Without Boundaries. So if you want to support the Entrepreneurship Without Boundaries movement, there's really just one simple thing that you have to do. You need to learn from, connect with, and collaborate with as many diverse entrepreneurs as possible. And that's all you have to do. And the more you do this, the more you're creating boundless opportunities for everyone to thrive as entrepreneurs. But the Entrepreneurship Without Boundaries movement, it can't happen without diversity. So now what I want to do is I just want to take a minute to clarify how we use the word diverse, because we actually use it differently than most. When we say diverse, we actually have a broad definition. And our broad definition includes two different types of diversity. There's inherent diversity, which refers to things like our race or our gender, our age, and so on. And then there's something called acquired diversity, which relates to our education, our experience, our skills, our values, our knowledge, and so on. So as I'm saying this, as I'm mentioning or talking about the differences between inherent and acquired diversity, I'm sure you can already think about several layers of diversity that you possess, both from the inherent and from the acquired side. So what we're going to do right now is we're going to do a really quick interactive exercise, which you do at each one of our Jelly Social events. And this exercise is called the Diversity Storm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this presentation just for a minute. And what we're going to do is we're going to do this exercise to show us just how many different layers of diversity are represented in this room right now. So what we're going to do is I want you to open up the chat messenger. So you'll see on the bottom panel of your Zoom window, there's a chat button. So click the chat button. And what I want you to do is type into the chat messenger. And what you're going to type in the chat messenger is all the different things that make you diverse. So from your inherent diversity side and your acquired diversity side, I want you to type in all those different things that make you diverse and send it out to everybody on the call. So we're going to pause for a minute to do that diversity storm, and I'll be sending messages too. So whenever you're ready, get started and type away the things that make you diverse. All right, so I'm seeing things coming in here. I see from Newfoundland, I see Hispanic, I see Chinese, Indian, I see engineer, African-American, Trinidadian, artist, 40s, mom. I see Black woman, college educated marketer. I see single doctor. I see female, Black lawyer, Jamaican, 40s and thriving. Keep it going, keep all the things that make you diverse. Just keep typing them away. I see manufacturer in Toronto. I see Portuguese background, speak 3 languages. I see 40s. I see event coordinator, 45s teacher, 50 and fabulous. I see Caribbean descent mother, Portuguese mom and entrepreneur. All right, so doctor from USA. Hello, hello. All right, so we'll pause things there. But the whole purpose of the diversity storm, the reason why we do this every time we host a Jelly Social event, is just to reframe what diversity means. Now, a lot of times we may feel that diversity doesn't necessarily apply to us, but when we look at diversity from the inherent and the acquired diversity lens, as you can see in the chat messenger, each and every one of us is diverse in so many different ways. So when we talk about diversity, it all hits home to each of us in our own unique way. So that's really the whole lesson here when it comes to the diversity storm. Just always acknowledge your diversity, always embrace it, and put that out there as a sign of pride. So that concludes our diversity storm. And with that, I'm going to jump right back into our presentation. All right, so good job, everyone. Now, the other thing that really defines our movement is collaboration. So when we collaborate with as many diverse people as possible, then that's when we start to create change. And to us, collaboration is really simple. It's any act, big or small, to support our peers however we can. And this could be something as simple as advice. It could be an introduction. It could be a social media shout out. It could be sharing skills or resources. It could be a new joint project or venture, or it could even be purchasing a product. But basically, there's a wide spectrum of ways that we can collaborate with each other. But the key message here is that any kind of collaboration support that we provide each other, it's going to make a huge difference. So I'm going to pause this presentation one more time to do another interactive exercise. And again, we do this one at each one of our Jelly Social events. But this one is called the Collaboration Storm. So again, we're going to be using the Zoom Messenger. And in one message, what you're going to be typing out is you're going to type out your name. You're going to tell us how this group can help you. You're going to tell us what you can offer this group. And you're also going to post your email address. So what we're going to do is we're going to post that all in the chat messenger so that we all know exactly who's in the room and how we can collaborate with each other. So just a quick summary: your name, your ask, your offer, and your email. So I'm going to pause this presentation one more time. Open up your chat messenger. And again, put your name, put your ask, put your offer, and put your email. And we'll pause for a minute so that you can do that. And type it out in one message. And the reason why we're doing this, afterwards, when you save your chat at the end of the event, you'll be able to see everybody's name, ask, offer, and email, so you can easily follow up with them after the event as well. All right, so that's gonna conclude our collaboration storm. But if you need more time with this, feel free to put your name, your ask, your offer, and your email at any point during our session today. Again, we're going to keep this running log of your information so that after the event, anyone who wants to contact you can get your details pretty easily. And again, yeah, feel free to put that information in at any point during the event. So with that, that's just our little PSA for Jelly Social that we like to do at all of our events. And I'd now like to turn things over to our expert speakers. And again, each one is going to be doing a short TED Talk style presentation. We're going to have each of our panelists give us really good actionable information that we can use for our businesses. So I'll be calling on each one of our speakers. But just before I do that, I just want to make sure that Chris Beth, one of our event partners, has an opportunity to speak as well. So all of our events that we've been doing in this series have been in partnership with Empowered for X. And I'll let Chris Beth take it away and tell us all about the great work that she's doing. So Chris Beth, whenever you're ready.
Hey, thank you so much, Sanjeet, and thank you to our panelists as well. Thank you to everyone that's in the audience. I'm super excited to be here to also learn as an entrepreneur myself, supporting entrepreneurs in our community. We really focus on providing spaces and opportunities for learning and engaging in business development. What I really am passionate about is providing the wraparound services and supports that most business owners need. Oftentimes, we're doing it alone as a small business entrepreneur or small enterprise and really thinking about how to scale. And so really looking at leveraging the expertise of different people like the ones that we're going to hear tonight from to really build capacity in your organization as you move forward. Empowered for X is our head office is in Brampton, Ontario. We have a co-working space. We invite people to come check us out once COVID is over. But one of the cool things that business owners take advantage of us still with is our business address. So if you are currently owning a business and you're using your home address as your personal address, it's oftentimes better to get a business location, and only for $9.99, you can have it on a monthly basis. So most entrepreneurs get really excited about that, and we're happy to serve wherever we can. Thank you so much, Sanjeet, and I'll pass it back to you to introduce our guest speakers.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you so much, Chris Beth. And one other thing I just want to put out there. So some of you might have seen, at the very beginning of our presentation that we had posted a link to a Jelly Social app. So I'm going to post that here one more time, just in case someone wants to get connected there. But you'll see a link in the chat messenger. This is to our brand new app that's going to help you really get connected with others in the Jelly Social community. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you really quickly how this thing works. So, oops. Okay, so here's the Jelly app right here. And what you're going to see here is really like a Tinder type of a functionality for getting you connected with other people in the Jelly Social community. So for instance, we have Abhishek here. If I swipe left, it will move me over to the right next profile. If I swipe right, it's going to open up an email message that will allow me to connect directly with Abhishek. So just a really cool way for you to connect with other people in the Jelly Social community. If you want to create your own profile, all you need to do is click on that button there, and you can fill out the form, upload your picture, and your profile will be included here for other people to connect with you. Now, if you click on the home page, that's where you have the Tinder functionality. If you click on this icon here with the smiley face, then you'll just get an entire listing of everybody in our community that has created a profile. So two different ways to connect. This one just a little bit more fun and engaging, or you can just kind of go through this way and doing it, which has some more fulsome profiles. So free to create a profile. You're welcome to do this and use it as a way to network with other people in the Jelly community. So you'll see a link to that in the chat. Now, that being said, I'd like to throw things over to Kim Speed. And again, Kim is going to do her presentation on branding on a shoestring. So whenever you're ready, Kim, you can take it away.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. Okay, Sanjeet, can you see that?
Yep.
Okay, fantastic. So hello, everyone. I'm here to talk about branding and how you can brand on a shoestring. And I'm going to do that by taking you through some easy steps that will help you create a client attracting brand. So a lot of people will say, oh, you know what, I'm just a startup, or this is only a side hustle, or I'm just starting out. Is a brand important for me? Should I be thinking about this process at this point? And my answer to that is, as soon as you hang out your shingle, you have actually already created a brand. The question is more about whether you nurture it and cultivate it so that it actually works for you, or if you choose to ignore it and let your competition decide what your brand stands for. So I am Kim Speed. I am a brand visibility expert and business mentor. My company is called Purple Moon Creative Brand and Marketing Boutique, and I have been an entrepreneur for 11 years now. But I have to tell you, I accidentally became an entrepreneur because 11 years ago, we were in another recession. And I don't know if anybody here can remember that. But at that point, the company that I worked at, an advertising company, we lost a huge client, and I also lost my job. And during that point, I just figured that I was going to go and start to look for another job, and went home. And while I was doing that, I also got the opportunity to spend a lot more time with my kids, way more time than I ever had before. I used to have to leave early in the morning, come home late at night. I spent a lot of money on daycare, having somebody else take care of them and enjoy the best hours of their day, while I missed out on everything. And when I got the opportunity to be with them, that's when I had the epiphany that, you know what, something has to change, and I don't want to go back to that corporate hectic life anymore. So I had to figure it out. I jumped in with both feet and started offering my services in branding and design. And I finally found my ideal client, and that was a small business owner who needed my help. It was an up and down roller coaster of, good times and bad. And then finally, after getting a business coach and really working on the business, I found success. And now 11 years later, I work with small business owners and entrepreneurs to help them really step into their spotlight and attract their audience, so that they can they can make more income, more impact, and have more freedom. And I've now helped over 500 people around the world. It's been so exciting. And going back to brand, I wanted to bring up this quote from somebody who I admire, an amazing marketer, Seth Godin, and probably some of you have heard of him. But he describes a brand as a set of expectations, memories, stories, and relationships that account for a person's decision to choose a product or service over another. What he doesn't say is that a brand is a logo, although that is a really important part of your brand visuals and how you will get noticed. It's really your brand, if you define it, is your reputation. And if you replace the word brand with reputation, I think you'll see that it's actually a really important thing that everybody needs to be considering to take care of and create and cultivate. So I'm going to take you through 3 steps so that you can use to create your own client attracting brand. Does that sound good, everyone? Excellent. So the first step sounds really simple, but you have to be able to tell people what does your brand do. Now, when I say that, I want to know that I could leave a room and somebody could explain for me what I do to a stranger so that they can tell them what I do and who I do it for and what kind of experience that I might provide somebody, so that it really makes it crystal clear to people, am I for them or am I not? Because I want to attract the right people and I want to detract the wrong people. So I'm going to take this example of a client of mine and just show you how effective it is when you have this correct statement. So my client, Dr. Danielle, she's a chiropractor. And before I worked with her, she said she would introduce herself as, hello, I'm Dr. Danielle, and I am a chiropractor. I help people that want healthy bodies and healthy minds. That's fine, but it's really generic. I don't know who she helps. I don't know really what she does. And it doesn't stick in my mind as somebody that I really need to remember. So when we worked together, she now introduces herself as, hello, I'm Dr. Danielle. I am a chiropractor, and I help busy women and their active families get and stay healthy so that they can move without pain and have energy to take part in all the fun activities their families like to enjoy together. Now, can you see that all of a sudden, you know who she works with and what she can do for them and why I might want to take my family there, and how it could be a good fit for me, and how maybe for somebody else that isn't in this description that it wouldn't be for them. And a lot of people will say, well, you know what, I don't want to define my brand so much so that I can do things for everybody. But I tell you, when you do that, then you're too general and nobody remembers you. But when you start to actually get specific, then people remember you and you get the right clientele. And what happened for Dr. Danielle? Well, having a clear message and specific audience made a huge difference for her business. And she started to attract actually the right partners as well. People that could help her grow her business, become affiliates. And then she was able to actually attract people through her website because they were finding her through the right search words. And she was attracting more clients. So step number 2, once you figure out how to say who you are and describe what you do, the next thing I want you to do is actually think of the words that describe your brand. So I like to say, choose 3. Just to make it easy, choose 3 of the best words that describe your brand. And what I mean by that are, how would you like your audience to describe you to someone? How would you like your audience to feel about you? And what impression do you want them to have? And here's some examples. Maybe you want people to think, I'm professional, or it could be creative. You could be an inspirational brand, or maybe you're somebody that's really empowering. Maybe you're fun. You could be one of the luxurious brands. It could be something like being consistent or custom made, or maybe you're friendly, or maybe it's really a great thing for your brand to be thought of as eccentric. So if you think of these things, and these are just a few examples that I want you to really dig into this and think about, what words you could use to actually describe your brand. This is going to help guide you on what your business should look like, what type of brand voice you should have, and how you should interact with people. So the other thing is, I don't want you to get stuck on thinking that your words can never change. So don't freak out. Just have 3 words for now that represent you now. And as your business evolves, your brand's words can also evolve. And then step 3, I want you to think about what experiences can you create around your brand. What can you do that would actually make your clients or customers feel like you actually were thinking about them, that they're special, and that you understand them. So let's go back to my chiropractor example. So because we figured out who her audience was, she's for women with families, and that they want to keep active. So what she did was she started to provide family appointments. So letting families come and have one appointment all together. So mothers with kids were able to bring their kids in, get them treated, get herself treated all at one time without, having to worry that somebody's in the waiting room or, one kid's out there, if you can have a few people in the room at a time, which was really convenient for her clients. And then she offered a specialty service for pregnancy, for pre and postnatal care. And she also added on some other practitioners that would be helpful for her clients, like a child psychologist and a naturopathic doctor. And this really made her, her clients think that, you're thinking about me, and these are things that, are really going to help me. None of this is really crazy stuff. It's not like you're doing anything that's absurd. It's just getting in the minds and offering some special experiences based around that clientele. So what I'd say is I want you to be the brand that gets noticed. And when you get noticed, people start to remember you. Being remembered is crucial because a lot of times you will meet people and they might not need your service right then and there. But if they need you in, 3 months, 6 months, or a year, then you'll be the one that they remember and they'll reach back out to you. So a great brand doesn't happen overnight. It takes time and consistent effort. So put in that time and your business will start to get stronger and more successful, and it'll grow and become profitable. So I just want to say quickly, I know that I'm running over a little bit, but I do have a special gift for anybody that would like to know more about branding on a shoestring. Get a copy of my book if you go to brandingonashoestringbook.com. So thank you so much, guys.
All right, thank you, Kim, and informative as always. So now what I'd like to do, actually, so I'm sure all of us have all kinds of questions that we may want to throw over to Kim. So we're going to pause and do another storm. This one's called a Q&A storm. So on the bottom of your window, you're going to see a tab that says Q&A. I want you to click the Q&A tab, and whatever questions that you have for Kim, I want you to just type it away and even include your email address so that Kim can respond back to you directly afterwards. So let's take about a minute to do our Q&A storm. Again, the Q&A tab that you see on the bottom of the screen, just use that and send in your question. You'll see one question already in there. So let's pause for a minute.
Perhaps while we're waiting for that 1 minute, Kim, you can answer the one question that's already in there. And it is, how do you narrow down your niche when you do everything? And how do you choose which experts to market as your number one service?
So I would say a lot of times it's actually making a choice. And if you go into your own story, a lot of times your ideal client is going to be somebody that's very similar to you, especially when you're starting out. I think more people know than they let on. because there are people that you are going to want to work with, and there's people you know you can help more than others. And sometimes defining that, it just feels like, you know, it's scary because you don't know the messaging yet. And it's, you know, really about figuring out who you are and what some of the things that you are really an expert at. Does that help?
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Kim. And yeah, keep throwing your questions in there. If you have anything that you want to send directly to Kim, just stick it in the Q&A. And yeah, feel free to stick your email address in there as well, so Kim can get back to you. But thank you so much, Kim. And Kim, if you also want to type your answers in, you can type it in directly in the Q&A, so you can respond to specific questions in that tab. So yeah, thank you so much again. And let's throw things over to our next speaker. So Kimberly, if you're ready, we can have you start your presentation. And Kimberly's topic, just so everyone knows, it's about trademark protection for entrepreneurs. So Kimberly, whenever you're ready, you can take that away.
Sure, happy to. Thank you, Sanjeet. Is everybody hearing me? Okay, great. So I am very, very happy to be participating in this session today. And, you know, I agree with everything that Kim has said in terms of how important your brand is. And, you know, between Sanjeet and Kim, you know, one common thread is how much your brand becomes your reputation and it becomes your identity in the marketplace. So a little bit on me. So I am a lawyer called to the bar in the warm, sunny, beautiful island of Jamaica. And I'm also called to the bar in Ontario. I've practiced as a lawyer for over 8 years, and 6 of those years have been dedicated exclusively to trademark and brand protection. I generally like to start these sessions off with trying to convey some understanding as to what a trademark is. Because I find that when entrepreneurs understand the role of a trademark, the job of a trademark, then they begin to see the value of their trademark to their business, and they're better able to understand why they need to protect that valuable asset. So, let's try to move my slide. Okay. So what exactly is your trademark? So your trademark is that sign. It's your brand, that sign that you use to identify yourself in the marketplace as the source of your products and services. So if you address your mind to how trade takes place generally, you as the manufacturer of a product, you are not standing in every single store beside your product to say to the consumer, here, this is my brand of water. This is my product. And so when you purchase something with this label or with this name, you're buying from me and you can expect a certain type of quality. You're not there to do that. It is your brand or it is your trademark that does that for you. So your trademark is your source identifier. It is the face of your business. It is what communicates to consumers that they are engaging your business. They're purchasing from you. They can expect a particular type of quality when they purchase this item. Over time, your trademark becomes synonymous to your reputation. So consumers will now look at a brand, and after knowing the brand and experiencing products bearing that brand over time, they will say, okay, this is a good product or this is not a good product. So if you take some time to just consider what I've just said in terms of the job of a trademark and the role that it plays in your business, then you will realize that your trademark is really one of your most, if not the most valuable assets that your company will have and that your business would have. When I was a trademark law junior, my senior partner told me a story that I'll never forget. She attended a talk by the CEO of Coca-Cola at the time. And he said that, the factories could burn down tomorrow and it would be a huge financial loss to the company. But our most valuable asset would still be intact, and that is our name. So when we eventually rebuild the factories and we get things back up, we still have our unique and distinct brand of Coca-Cola to slap onto our products and to get things rolling again. So your trademark is very, very valuable to your business. And so you must ensure that you protect your trademark. Now, trademark protection starts from inception, from creation. In trademark world, we always counsel clients to choose trademarks or choose brands that are strong. Choose brands, names, logos, taglines, whatever it is that you use to associate your products and services. Choose trademarks that are distinctive, that are unique, that are original. So if you remember what I said, being that you're not in the marketplace to confirm to consumers that this product is yours, you want to make sure that your trademark stands out and allows you to shine. So, you want to stay away from marks or names or pictures that are generic. So words or phrases or pictures that are commonly used in the industries, in your industry by other traders will not be unique to you. And so if you adopt such a name, then other customers or your intended customers may purchase from your competitor thinking that it is you. So you are opening up yourself to lost sales, you're putting your reputation at risk. Stay away from descriptive words. So the job of a trademark is not to describe your product or service. It is a source identifier. It is a badge of origin. So if you're selling ice cream and you call your ice cream creamy, that's a descriptive word. And chances are there are other players in the industry who will want to describe their ice cream as creamy. So you're not going to stand out. No matter how great your ice cream is, I am not going to know, or I'm unlikely to know that this product is yours. Again, I may go and buy somebody else's product because it has creamy on the packaging. It's horrible. And I go online and I review your company because I thought I purchased your ice cream. Also, stay away from names or logos or phrases that are confusing. And by confusing, I mean they're too similar to another brand that is being used on the market. So I have an example here. Let us say that I am into liquor. That's my product. There is a brand on the market called Hypnotic with TIC. And I call my liquor Hypnotic with the TIQ. They look the same. They sound the same. They give the same idea. And so I'm not distinguishing my product from that of the other person. So it's quite possible that you may like my Hypnotic, but you see the Hypnotic with the TIC and you purchase it because the brands look so similar that you think it is mine. Also, when you do this, when you use brands that are too similar to other brands, you may be infringing somebody else's trademark and you could potentially be slapped with a huge trademark lawsuit. Now, so having gone over, what a trademark is, the importance of a trademark to your business, and you've developed a strong brand, a good brand, then immediately you need to move on to protecting your trademark. So I'm going to give you some tips as to how to protect your trademark or how to protect your brand. So the best way, the best protection that you can have for your name is to register your trademark as a trademark before the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. Now, a trademark registration gives you the exclusive right to use your name. It is different from your business name registration. Your business name registration does not give you exclusive rights to use your name. When you have a trademark registration, it is automatic proof of ownership. You no longer need to prove to anybody, in particular a court of law, should you ever have to, that you own this brand. If your brand is unregistered, then the onus is on you to prove it, should you ever have to. So if somebody is using the mark or using something that is too similar to it, you don't have automatic proof of ownership of the brand without a trademark registration. Another benefit of registering your trademark is that it gives you exclusive rights to the trademark throughout all of Canada. And this is very, very, very beneficial to startups, the coast-to-coast enforceability. A lot of times you start your business in your home city and you anticipate that you will branch off into other cities, other provinces. If your trademark is unregistered, your rights are limited to the geographic location of your business. And so you could have a thriving business somewhere in Ontario and you've not registered your brand, and somebody in Alberta starts to use the trademark in respect of a similar business or an identical business. And you may say, okay, but I'm in Ontario, that person is in Alberta. Okay, but we live in a digital world and everybody's reviewing everybody online. So you don't want to leave your brand vulnerable like that. You want to own it across Canada. Another great advantage of registering your trademark is that some of the enforcement work is done for you for free. So we say passive enforcement by the Canadian registrar. So if I have a trademark registration for the word hypnotic for liquor, and 1 year later you come and you try to register that same word for liquor, the trademarks registrar is going to issue an objection to your application to say, you cannot obtain registration to this word because this is already a registered trademark and your name is going to be confusing to the public. And it doesn't have to be the identical name. If it is something that is too similar, then the registrar will block it. So the trademark registration is the most important tool in your toolkit in terms of protecting your trademark and owning your trademark. Now, in terms of unofficial ways to protect your brand, always label your brand. Labeling your brand says to the world, this is a trademark. Okay, so if your trademark is unregistered, you use the TM sign, and that simply says, this is a trademark. If your trademark is registered, then you use the R sign, and that is an indicator that this is a registered trademark. As well, try to obtain all the social media handles that you can. So go onto Instagram, go onto Facebook, secure the handles, just take them out of the public domain. Even if you never use them, take them out. Don't allow somebody to go onto Instagram and register, have a profile with a name like yours. Also, register the domains online, the .cas, the .com. If there is any other domain that is, incidental to your industry or important to your industry, try to secure those. What you're trying to do is to take your brand out of from public availability. And then finally, and importantly, monitor your brand. A lot of entrepreneurs make the mistake of registering their brand and then they leave it. And you're taking away some of the effectiveness of registration. Police your brand. Go on to Google, once every month and type in your trademark. See what's out there. Look if there is anybody else that is using the trademark, or if somebody else is using a mark that you think is just too close to the trademark and, they're going to confuse my consumers. So my key takeaway, just in case you've forgotten everything that I've just said, the first thing, start with a strong brand. When you're creating a brand, get something that is unique, something that is original. Always remember the job of a trademark, which is to link your product to you. And always remember that your trademark eventually becomes your reputation. So you want something that is original, something that is unique, something that will allow you to stand out in the marketplace. When you have come up with your strong trademark, register it. Don't wait until you're well into business to register your trademark. Secure exclusive rights to your trademark from the get-go, so nobody else in Canada can use your mark. Also, you want to attempt to register your trademark just in case the trademark turns out to not be available for registration. So you probably would have invested 3 years into your business and you're building your brand. And then after 3 years, when you try to register it, you discover that there is a registration on file that is prohibitive to yours. So register immediately to protect your brand.
We have a 1 minute warning here, Kimberly.
Okay. Right. I'm just about wrapping up. And then when you register your brand, monitor it, police it, check online, check on Google, check on Instagram. And if you see somebody using your brand or using a brand that is too close to yours, take immediate action. Consult a brand protection specialist, speak to a trademark lawyer to assist you to stop people from violating your brand. So that's my presentation. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much. And do you have any of your contact information that you want to share?
Absolutely. So I practice in Canada with the Trademark Boutique law firm of Mason PC. I can put my email, my contact details in the chat for anyone who wants to, who has any question or needs to reach out to me. I'm happy to do that.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So as we did with Kim, I'd like to pause for a minute to do a Q&A storm for Kimberly as well. So if you want to open up the Q&A tab on the bottom of your screen, you can send any questions that you have directly to Kimberly. And we'll pause for about a minute so you can send over your questions, and we'll have Kimberly answer them a little bit later on in the presentation. So our Q&A storm, again, send your questions over to Kimberly. All right, and in the meantime, Marta, did you want to get ready with your presentation?
Sure. Should I give him a couple more seconds, or I'm good to talk?
You can share your screen, and then we can give it a few seconds.
Okay.
All right, Marta, so whenever you're ready, you can take it away.
Hi, everyone. I hope we still have everyone's attention. I know we're kind of nearing the 8 o'clock mark where everyone is eager to do the icebreaker. So I'll try my best. I'm going to stick to the 10 minutes. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. I will apologize ahead of time if anyone hears any background noise. It's just two young children that I'm trying to keep away from my office space. So thank you for bearing with me. So I'm Marta Andrade. I am the creative conductor at L7 Design. And I specifically use that title because I believe in branding. And I believe that anything you can do to make yourself unique and stand out is inherent. It is so important to your brand. So I'm going to walk you through what I call the top 7 tips that helps you to stand behind your brand. I'll use some examples as I walk through a couple of these tips, and then of course we can wrap up with any questions. So I have been doing graphic design, just a quick history, for about 25, 26 years now. And in the last decade, I was able to break away from the corporate world and come and do my own boutique style agency. And so I've been doing branding, really a focus on branding for the last 10 years, and it's been fantastic. So I'm going to dive right in and talk about the very first tip. So your first tip is you have to define your brand. And I know that sounds very simple and it sounds very like, of course, that's my first step, but it's amazing how many people come to me and they haven't defined their brand. They haven't actually thought about what are the values and beliefs that are behind my brand. And these are a lot of thinking words. They are a lot of digging deep and making sure that what you say is your brand, you are aligned with it as a person. And you shouldn't be separate from what your brand is, because you are the personality behind your company. The next thing is to identify your strengths. It ties in so closely with defining your brand, because people need to understand, why should they invest in you or your product and services instead of your competitors? It's very easily, people get very easily confused if you're not clear on what your strengths are, what your unique selling proposition, and many people have heard that word before, USP is. So you have to be very clear. And again, it goes back to doing a lot of the homework, digging deep and jotting these things down, and even reaching out and asking a trusted friend, a trusted client. It's always good to have a small, intimate focus group to bounce off these kind of thoughts. The next thing, tip number 3, is you have to know your target audience. And if you don't know who you want to reach and how you're going to get there and how to best reach them, you're going to kind of try and do this approach of, I service all people, which I think sounds to me a problem with lots of entrepreneurs. They want to service everyone. And while that sounds fantastic, that you can try and reach everyone and help everyone, the problem is, it is so stretching, and you do spread yourself so thin that you then become not the expert at anything. And it is, as many people I think have gone down the road, a bit of an issue to maintain even that level. So I'm going to break away from this presentation for a second, because I just wanted to show you a good example of someone who does a great job, a company who does a great job at, let me go up for a second. Sorry, this is part of another presentation, so bear with me. I'm piecing things together here. So this this helps to illustrate my point about how you need to know your brand so well, and how you need to define your brand and make sure you outline your strengths. And Kind does a great job of this. They know exactly who they are, not only to themselves as the definition, but who they are in their target market's mind. So they've done a really good job. And here's a little quote that says, Kind is clear about being kind to our bodies, our taste buds, and our world. And they know that they're not great at doing things like making ads. So for instance, in the middle of one of the Super Bowls, instead of spending $6 million on an ad, they actually decided, well, we're just going to give you $6 million worth of Kind bars. And how much farther did that reach than doing the ad? It was huge. The impact was phenomenal. And it so defines, and it so actually echoes back to who they are as a brand, that they did a fantastic job looking in the mirror, and everyone was again, very pleased with their response. So the next thing that ties into what I was just talking about, the first 3 tips, is the fact that, sorry, went one slide too quickly. When you know what you stand for, then you can define those brand words that even Kim was talking about. So Amazon, they know that they stand for speed and that they need to be super efficient and that they need to deliver. Otherwise, people are not going to use them. You know, JetBlue or Southwest.com, those kind of airlines have traditionally stand for low cost. Lululemon, it stands for a better you through exercise and positive thinking, and they have some kind of casual but also sexy clothes. So they, there's a whole persona behind them, and even the existence in terms of Apple, as an example, why do they exist? Well, they exist to make great products for people, right? So they actually want you to feel good about yourself when you're using the product. So it's about really understanding who you're talking to, as I said before. So we're gonna flip back to the next point, which is point number 4, and that's creating your brand story. Why is it so important to create a story? Well, if you don't sort of romance someone into understanding how your company came to be, what is your values, what are your systems, what do you believe in, all those kind of things, then people will not actually understand why you're doing what you're doing. They will not connect with that passion that you have behind your company, and it becomes harder and harder to differentiate yourself. So you will not be unique, as Kimberly made a note of saying, you have to be unique. So you need to find your voice, tip number 5. And what tone do you even use to connect with your audience? It sounds like something, again, so basic and so simple, but you have to find that voice when you're creating that story. You have to know if you need to be fun, one of those brand words that Kim had on her presentation. And you have to know if you need to be more conservative or professional. So you need to determine that right from the get-go when you're writing your brand story. Point number 6, you have to design your look. And of course, that's one of my favorite things, because it comes right into all your branding signals, as you can call designing your logos and your fonts and your color palette and any kind of imagery that complements your identity. So you have to make sure that how you represent yourself visually, it communicates that story of values and beliefs, and it all ties into nicely together like this big woven piece of a ball. You can picture it all coming together. I'm going to show you an example of my logo and how, very quickly, briefly, how it came to be. There you go. So when I started doing my own journey of how was I going to brand myself, since I broke away from working corporately and wanted to establish my own company, I had to, establish sort of my own beliefs and my own interests, and why was I going to call myself L7? What did it all mean? Here's a little bit of the research I was doing. So there's a crown, as you can see. There's a sort of a lot of royalty, that kind of higher standard of product that I wanted to put out. There's lots of meanings, lots of things going on in my mind as I'm doing this research. Then, of course, I'm female. I'm at the helm of the company. So here I am trying to depict myself going, oh, do I really want to show it sort of as being the queen at the top of the company? But it was very important to me to make sure that the words communicated what the images did. As I was just saying, it has to be a marriage. It all has to tie in together. L actually means to guide, and 7 is the number of harmony. So I'm just going to jump forward. So when I came to the end piece of what my logo would actually look like, typographically, visually, any kind of icons I was using, you can see that right here up in the left-hand corner, I can define every single segment of my logo. It represents something. There's a signification behind it. It signifies honor and guiding light. That's what L means, but also L being a female reference in French. The L's are flipped number 7, so they are a reference to the 7 that I have in the tail end of the name. And 7 also does mean controlled perfection. It means harmony. And of course, the crown is still there as the sort of the royal standard of design, what my clients can expect when they work with me. So that's just like a very, very short synopsis of how I came to my logo. I'm going to exit that now. And then go into my last point, which is just to be consistent. If you're not consistent with all your branding across your platforms, it's clearly going to create some confusion to your target audience. They're not going to know if they're seeing the same kind of messaging coming from a different, perhaps sub-brand. Is it part of that company, a different company? Being consistent really creates that reliability, that trust, and of course that very quick, I remember them, that go-to that you want them to think of when they see you right away, when they see anything that has the identifiable marks that are being consistent. So that was my top 7 tips. I know I jumped around a little bit because I wanted to show you some visuals. I hope that all made sense. I do want to make mention that I typically do what I call brand buzz sessions. And what that means is I offer a branding audit live, and they're 30-minute sessions. And I just walk you through everything I see. So from your website to you're starting with your logo, and how does it interact with everything else that you have happening within your brand. And we walk through that, and I give you an audit of how you're doing, and I rate you on these specific things. And of course, very importantly, I measure them against how you defined your brand. So what are your values, and what were all the 3 powers that Kim mentioned? You know, I definitely use that trick too. I love that trick, so that it keeps you honest. It keeps you right on target to what you say you want your brand to be. So again, 30 minutes. You can book that with me if you'd like. The 30 minutes is usually $75. I typically offer a 50% discount whenever I do a webinar on that, as a little offer for listening to me speak. So there you have it. That's my little offer to you today. And thank you very much for listening.
All right, thank you so much, Marta. And I really enjoyed hearing about how your brand came together. So that was like great story to share. And I love these 7 points here, really quick and concise. So with that, I'd like to pause for a Q&A storm. So again, click the Q&A tab at the bottom of your window, and just send over your questions to Marta. Make sure to include your email address, and we'll pause for about a minute so you can do that. Hey, Marta, do you want to address that one question live that you see there? It's the one about speaking your voice. Do you see that?
You spoke about the soul and the vibe of your brand. Is that the one you're referring to, Sanjeev?
Yep.
Can you explain how you can speak your voice and still be able to speak to your clientele? I feel like I may be a little too nerdy for my high-end clientele who are very young and have a cool, trendy vibe. Okay, interesting. Yeah, so you have to, it goes back to being very honest about who your brand is. So your brand, you have to assume that personality. You have to know that you are one with your brand. And when you're speaking to the right person, you're going to attract the right person, right? So it's also, sometimes we overthink these things and we think, oh, we need to sound a certain way and they are expecting a certain thing from us, when really and ideally we just have to be true to what we said those 3 brand words were going to be, or what we said that this specific value was going to be. So if you can really remember that you just have to get right into the soul of why you started your company. What is that passion that is behind you? Those clients that you're talking about, they're going to be attracted to you. You're not going to even be worrying and overthinking all this. I'm sounding like this, I'm sounding like that. It's going to just come very natural. And you're going to find, actually, I guess my last point is that through that constant interaction with them, it's going to become so fluid and it's going to feel very natural. And you are going to be answering the questions or answering their need of what they're looking for. Did that help? Does that answer?
I think it was very well said. Dejara, you can actually post in the chat there if you have any follow-up questions. But I just want to be cognizant of the time here. So we've gone a little bit over our presentation portion, but so much great information was dropped as always. So I really appreciate all that. And everything here, this entire session was being recorded. We're going to be sending out a link afterwards so that you can access the videos and go back to all those, the great information that was presented back to us. So you can expect that video link to be sent out to you after the event. So what I'd like to do now, again, we're going to jump into our networking portion. So I'm going to give us two options here. So again, I've posted in the chat messenger the link to the Jelly Social networking app. So if you want to network, on your own time, feel free to create your profile or browse through the other profiles on the Jelly Social app. Otherwise, the other thing we're going to do is we're going to jump from Zoom to another platform. We're going to be using a platform called Icebreaker, which is going to be, it's actually set up as a networking game. So we're going to be able to have one-on-one conversations with everybody that's on the call right now. And we'll be able to dig a bit deeper into branding for our business, ask questions, and as well as, being able to talk about our business to other people in the Jelly community. So I'm going to post a link right now in the chat. So this link here is going to link you out to Icebreaker. So again, if you want to join us, it'll be a great way to connect with others and a more of a networking game. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on that. I'm going to meet you in the other platform. And Chris Beth, you're going to hang around here and guide people. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. So yes. Oh yeah. Before we do that, make sure you save your chat. So in the chat messenger, you'll see a 3-button icon. Click on that and you click the option to save your chat. A very important thing to do before you switch platforms. This is going to allow you to save everyone else's email, contact information, ask, and all that type of thing, so you can follow up after the event. So everybody make sure that you save the chat. That being said, I am now going to jump over to Icebreaker, and I'll meet you there. And if you have any questions, again, Chris Beth will be here to help you out.
I think based on the chat option, maybe the attendees cannot see a save chat option. Perhaps what we can do is send that out with the follow-up communication to the ones that have specifically attended.
Yep.
Okay, awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right, thanks everyone. I'll see you in Icebreaker.
Yes, and I'll be here if anyone has any questions, but I'll be directing you to Icebreaker so that we can all hop in there, have some great conversations. And you can be in both platforms at the same time, so you'll have to turn off Zoom and go over to Icebreaker.
And just a plug too, to follow Empowered for X on IG. Follow everybody if you want to list your IG handles in the platform, all about like following back and growing on social media since we're living in this virtual land. And thank you guys all for being on this platform. And Icebreaker is awesome. So make sure you jump over to Icebreaker. They put us automatically in rooms. We all get to network. It's really fun. So join us. And I'm going to jump over there too. I'm going to share our Jelly Social IG just so we can send and save that in the chat. And ladies, feel free to put your IG handles in there as well. So when we send it over, that to all the attendees. They have it. Oh, no worries, Marta. I know. You
Thank
made the
you.
hour. Great
Yes, take
presentations.
care.
You guys
Bye.
all had valuable stuff. Yes, thank you guys.
Yeah, so in order to go over to Icebreaker, Sanjeet shared the link earlier. I will just copy it again and paste it so that you have it. All you want to do is click on the link and follow the instructions there. You're good to go. Awesome. I see people going by. I'm still here, but make sure you click on that link. I will direct message you all so that just to make sure that you have it as well. So there you go. I see some folks hopping off. Awesome. I will see you in the next room. If you have any questions specifically for me, you will see me in the next room. Awesome. I don't know if for the folks that are still here, if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer as much as I can before we hop off, but I will be sure to connect with you as well. Hey, Arsh. Good to see you. Well, I can see, you can see me, I can't see you, but thank you for being here with us this evening. Yes, we continue to serve entrepreneurs like yourself, so thank you so much. Hey, no worries at all. Oh, yeah, so you want to close the Zoom link. I think I could. That's funny. So I guess that might be happening a little. I am now the host, so I think I could remove you and then you should be good. Cool. I will say bye. I'll see you in the next room, okay? Okay, awesome. So I'm gonna remove some folks. I will end this. Bye, everyone.